Welcome back to Cooking with Captain Matt Weber. Today we're going to cook hamburgers on the grill. So what we're going to do is we're going to take some hamburger, we're going to season it up, we're going to get some ingredients going, and we're going to grill these guys up. Hamburger's pretty simple, so one of the things that you're going to take away from this or try to understand is probably more than anything else is the time, the duration, how long we actually cook these things. And we're going to get into that when we get the grill fired up. But first things first, let's talk about ingredients. We got some buns, whatever bun suits your preference. We got some ground beef, whatever ground beef your wife wants, just cook it. This is going to be 75-25. Uncle Chris's gourmet steak seasoning. This stuff is incredible for seasoning just about anything. You know, pickles, tomatoes, onions. We're gonna process this up. One of the things that you want to keep in mind when you're doing this is whatever condiments you want to use are the condiments that you want to use. So I'm not going to get into mustard, ketchup, mayo, all of that business. That is what you want to do. I'm going to keep it simple here. So beef, Uncle Chris's, those are the two key ingredients. Buns, tomatoes, onions, pickles. I like to use jalapenos because I'm a freak like that. And we got to have some cheese. And then we want to make sure that you're staying hydrated. So here we go to season in the ground beef. So here we go, we're going to season this meat. Now what I have is I have a little square pan here, and I'm just going to take, this is about 2 pounds of burger meat, and I'm going to put it in here, and I'm going to smash it down in there to where it kind of fills in the pan here. Try to get it even as possible. Now I'm going to take the old Uncle Chris's, we're going to sprinkle it in. Just like this. We're going to coat the top. Alright, that's pretty good there. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to cut them, stack them, cut them, stack them, cut them, stack them. What that's going to do is it's going to layer that seasoning in that burger meat as we compress it down. So I'm going to use my little spatula here, and I'm just going to cut it into quarters like you're cutting a cake. This is not a precise science. You ain't really trying to do anything really totally magical here. You're just stacking them up, kind of like that. Now I'm going to lay them down in here and smash them flat, just like that. So now I got me a nice little 4 layers. Now we're going to quarter it again, just like that. Stack them, stack them, stack them. So we got 4 layers. Now we've got 4 times 4 is how many? 12. I got 12 layers of delicious goodness in here. So now I'm going to 16 layers. I'm sorry, my math is wrong. So you can do this again if you want, but after you do that twice, this is pretty much good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and separate these out into 4 different sections, and then I'm going to turn these into patties. So that's going to be the next step. Now we're going to turn these into patties. So I'm going to separate these into 4 patties. This one you want to try to get evenly distributed because these are going to be the last time you're going to cut these out. So here's one. I'm going to show you a little trick. I like to take it, roll it into a little ball. Now watch this. On the plate, take your smaller plate, smash it down on there just like that. You're going to pull that dude off, and that turns into a nice, well-distributed patty. So that's one, and that's going to go on a grill. So there's one. So let's talk about processing you up a couple of ingredients here. I like tomatoes, I like onions, I like pickles. So on the onion, I'm just going to take this end off like that, and I'm going to slice these into about little 1/8 inch, 1/4 inch little sections. That's good. That's good for onions. On the tomatoes, I'm going to take this entire end off here. I'm going to take this little end off like that. We're going to throw this away, and I'm going to take this and I'm just going to cut these into little rounds. It's good to have you a sharp knife. This one could use a little work. So there you go. Now I've got my tomatoes. And for the pickles, I like to cut them kind of lengthwise with little angles on them so that they sit real nice on the bun. Do the same thing with this dude here. All right, so here we are. We got the burgers, we got the grill. It's creeping up almost to 350. This thing's ready to cook. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay them on here. I'm gonna use my spatula. This is the only tool you need to manage these burgers. You gotta have a place for them to land, and you gotta have something to keep you hydrated. So here's what we do. I'm just gonna lay these guys on here over the hot spots, one on the front, one on the back, one on the front, one on the back. I'm putting them right over the heat, and they're just gonna sit there. So first things first, I wanna just be able to move them a little bit. Just move them so they don't stick to the grates. See, that one kind of wanted to stick a little bit. Just move them a little bit, and what that does is that burger sears, and once it sears, once you move it, it's not going to stick, and that's going to prevent it from becoming an ungodly tragedy. So move them just a hair after you slap them on there. Good to go. Close the lid. I'm sitting at about 300 degrees or so. We're going to let these cook for a little while. I'm going to check them in a couple minutes. All I'm going to do is lift them with the spatula to see what they look like on the bottom. I may flip them over. I may keep them on that side. But this is pretty much autopilot at this point. All right, we've been at it for a couple minutes now, 2, maybe 3 minutes or so. So I'm gonna check these burgers real quick. So here's what I'm looking at. I got a little bit of juice forming on the top of these things. That's exactly what I'm looking for. And I'm gonna take a peek at the underside. Oh yeah, these are ready to flip. Do not press down on your spatula and juice these things out. Your whole mission in life to make sure that these are delicious and juicy is to keep the juice in them. You do not want to juice these out. That's a cardinal sin. Never ever do that. So let's go ahead and flip these dudes. Now these are going to flame up because there's fat and such hitting on the flame. So just flip them over like that. This one's burning a little hotter than these other 3, so this one I'm going to keep an eye on. But it's going to take just another couple minutes, and we're going to be ready to eat. All right, it's been a couple of minutes. We flipped them. They've been cooking on here, so we're going to go ahead and check them out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my spatula. I'm going to press into the middle of them just a little bit, just to see what their resistance feels like. Your spatula shouldn't go all the way into it, but if it's meeting a whole ton of resistance, then they're too done. So I'm gonna look at the underside of this guy right here. It looks good. I'm gonna press in. Those feel good. Oh yeah, so these are about medium. That's about where I like to eat my hamburgers. If you want medium rare, you got to take them off a little sooner. You want less resistance with the spatula. These guys are done. We're taking them off. It's time to eat. So let's go ahead and plate these bad boys. Notice I didn't press down on these things not once. All the juice stays in the burger. That's the key to success. All right, so we're going to turn the grill off and we're going to take this inside and we're going to get to work. All right, so we brought the burgers in. Everything's situated and staged. We got the jalapenos, we got the onions, tomatoes, we got the pickles, we got the cheese, we got the burgers, we got the buns, we got the shiners, we got the mustard, mayo, ketchup. Everything's in place. We're ready to eat. Thank you for tuning in. And at the end of the day, I hope you have another fine day full of fun and adventure.